Right, and according to that, I am streaming. I can see the screen. I know there's always about a 40-second lag to start, so I guess there's going to be about a 30-second lag from after the countdown finishes. This actually starts when I can still see 10 seconds on the countdown. But I hope you're all good. I've got showing on the screen the awesome 2.5 Oyajis art done by Neil Basconcillo, I think is the name, and awesome job. There's been some great stuff that's come up from that. I'm back from my domestic trip to Kumamoto. As you can see, I'm a little bit shaggy tonight, but that's okay. And there we go, there's the end of the lag. I just started, so good to see you all. And I can see the and action. I guess it's a 30-second lag for you guys because of the buffering thing. But how is my sound? How is everything? I can see Sean Galbraith is saying hello, Hiko. I just want to say thanks again for this awesome whatever you call it, art, which I converted into a thumbnail for the last 2.5 Oyajis show. I guess tonight I'm going to talk mostly about the trip to Kumamoto, my first real domestic trip in a while, and kind of things that I remembered by doing with it, and tips for others. Let's realize I'm going to flip around. No sound. Okay, there's no sound if I go to that one, so that's not good. Oh, these things. Like, well, it wouldn't be my show if it didn't have technical problems, right? So it's one of the charms of the show, I like to think. You know what, I'm just going to put that in there anyway, just so that there's not a problem, so that if I do flip back to it now... Okay, now there should be mic. See, it's awesome. See, I'm like a really crappy director of myself. Okay, a lot of static. That's because I've got fans. I've got actually a computer going there and the aircon going there. It is currently in this room. It is, check it out. It is 30.4 degrees in this room, and that is with an aircon going at full bore, set for a very unecological 21 degrees, and it's 30 degrees. So what can you do, right? So yes, okay, I'm sorry, I will keep this closer. But yes, I'm sorry about the staticky stuff. Bear with me. There is a computer down there with fans, and there's a big thing up there. So yes, I'm going to show you. I guess I'm going to do a couple of things. I want to show you pics. I'm going to show you the. So I survived typhoon number 12. I don't know what the name for it is, actually. They don't use names for typhoons in Japan, which I think is better that way. The whole thing that they used to name them after women, I always thought was a little bit harsh, or not even harsh, just politically inappropriate. But yes, so they had that. And what else is going on? I have had... various other things going on, but I guess let's start by jumping into the comments. I am a bit tired, and I probably look a bit tired apart from being a bit shaggy, so I'm going to get in and look at the comments, and then I'm going to get into talking about some news and about my trip. So starting with the comments, so bada bing, I guess we take this off. And we move on to, and if I did, I've got to move to the side a little. We can change colors. We can manage that. So let's go in to the comments and say hello to everyone. Now I'm sitting on a slightly different angle. I'll adjust the camera. I've got to actually fix the settings on this. I haven't played with the settings on this for a while. Sound is still working, so that is a good thing. I might just turn the sound up, shall I? I can do that. There we go. Boom. Give myself some volume. Oh, was that too much volume? No, that's good. Okay, you can probably hear me a little bit better now anyway. I've increased the sensitivity of the mic. Travis Moore, good to see you, man. How's it going? I wonder if I can improve. Boom. Oh, You know what? That might be too much zoom, but let's have a look. That makes it a little bit easier to read, doesn't it? It does. Let me just do that. I think it's a little bit higher resolution, so let's go with that. So, hey, Travis Moore, good to see you. Nice work, Japan. Indeed, soon when you posted that, but now I'm live, so good to see you. 3 likes at a very early stage, so thank you for that, for all the likes. How am I doing on likes? Let's have a look. Ba-da-boom, ba-da-boom, ba-da-boom. Actually, 16 likes, that's not bad for me. I'm happy with that. I can, that's respectable. Oh, you know what? Is this going to mess up my screen? No, don't mess up my screen. Okay, that's good. Okay, I can see that. 31 watching. Good stuff. Okay. Travis Moore is watching. You were hearing an old Oyajis episode the other day, and I mentioned Tokyo Going Out Guide. How would you go about finding that? Times have changed. I'm not sure how current this is, but certainly what I used to use was Metropolis. They would have a complete clubbing guide. I mean, again, it depends on what you're into. So I went to go and have a look and see if that is still around, and I found it indeed is. So let's go have a look at Metropolis magazine, shall we? It's changed ownership a couple of times. I want to go here and go here and go here. Boom. So basically, with Metropolis, you've got these menus now. This used to be like a free paper. I think it was a monthly or bi-monthly, and it was a pretty wide. It's probably the most widely distributed English magazine, other than maybe the Japan Times. It was certainly for free papers. And in the arts and entertainment section, it has a pretty good section on stage, sports, clubbing, and these are all guides, basically. I think these are now bi-monthly. So, in fact, although looking at this is talking about stuff going back to 2013, so it looks like it hasn't been updated for a while. I was very much into clubbing, going into nightclubs, and for doing that, I mean, the guides which I used to use the Cyber Japan guide, which I guess club guide. I wonder if it still works. It looks like they still have it. It still exists. Okay, well, this one, cyberjapan.tv club guide. This is pretty good. They've got a Tokyo and Osaka guide. And Ageha, well, this is the thing as well. The club turnover is pretty heavy in Tokyo. But you can see, I can still see if the ones that I know are still there. They change a lot. A lot of these are showing themselves as closed. But yeah, you can see reviews and upcoming events and schedule for all of those. So, and just Google around, I guess. I mean, this is the thing. Okay, so I thought I had an answer for you, and it turns out that I don't. Everyone help out Travis Moore. What is a good going out guide? But this is the whole thing. What used to blow my mind away was even looking at these club events and the upcoming whatever. The people that just play DJs at these clubs are like people I used to worship musically, and they're all just here and they're just playing. So that was pretty awesome anyway, and that's what I like about that. So yeah, let me put this back. Boom, back to the comments. Lucas Mosi, you found something on Google, but you can't post it here. What do you want to post? Tell me about it, or message it to me, or something like that. I'll see if it's worthwhile. Although it's a bit hard to do live, but if I notice it, you tell me where you're going to send or describe it to me. Maybe I can find it. Break and Fall, glad that you made it here in time. Sasimang28172, you'll twiddle your thumbs for a bit, of course. Oh, okay, so that is Simon from the Three Old Dudes. Very good to see you, sir, and thank you for the interaction. I know that you had a question about a recent video that I uploaded, which I will come to, actually. Yes, Maikeru Mitsuru has a question. Hajimete nanode yoroshiku onegai itashimasu. This is your first time watching live, guys. Very glad to have you here, Maikeru. Good to see you, Maikeru Mitsuru, and a very good Japanese there. Very good introduction there, good one for everyone to learn. Yoroshiku onegai itashimasu. Bit of a keigo, very good. GS Seat, glad that you made it, and you think that I've got one of the best channels on Japan. And you're glad that I'm consistent with my live shows, which I am pretty much. Sometimes at risk to my own personal safety. Yes, I'm pretty good. I try to give a heads up if I'm not going to be on time. or if I'm going to miss a week. But yeah, you know, that is what it is, and I wasn't sure if I'd be back. I got back last night, and I'll get back to that soon, but that means that I could join it today. Ahmed, good to see you, sir. Michael Pekic, very good to see you. December Clouds, you did make it indeed, and I hope you did get some tea, because we are going to be rocking it for the next 50 minutes. Nightwork Japan, you got your JD and Coke. Let's do it, indeed. Let's do that, Nightwork Japan. Too high in hand, says Michael Gillen Peckett. 30 seconds, all getting to the countdown. Everyone's getting excited. Barringer's here. Darth JF, just listened to a History of Rome podcast. Just in time, it seems. Oh, so glad that you can come and join me after another good podcast. Luke is saying hello. We are taking off, going in 10. That's right. Everyone's got their tea ready, and I think I almost made it in time. Sean Galway, very good to see you. It looks like you came in just as we started. December Clouds, is that supposed to be more GTA or Hotline Miami? Well, I don't know, go and ask the artist, but he did a fantastic job and I really liked it. I'd actually quite like, well, I mean, I guess it'd be kind of selfish to want a Tokyo Tonight version of it, but that's cool. Victor's got the star power, right? I mean, I like to think I bring the quality and the class and the sophistication, but he brings the star power to it, I guess. So that's why we get all the cool fan art on 2.5 Oyajis. You know, this is cool. This is our thing, right? This is our Cosa Nostra, as it were. That's like saying our thing, isn't it? It doesn't really make sense, but that's okay. I don't do Italian. Victor does. Well, Victor kind of does. Nights with Japan. Holo Hika, indeed. The sound is good. That's glad to hear. Everyone confirming that the sound is okay. That's good, because sometimes it doesn't. Apparently, Simang, 28172. Sorry about the static, but I hope I've just fixed it. And indeed, the sound did just go off, although I got it back. Fortunately, I've got my control panel in front of me here, so I can see if the sound isn't broadcasting, which is better than Google Hangouts, where we've had shows where I've been like talking for ages and there's been no sound. But here I can see whether everything's working or not. That's right. So yes, we all got the. In fact, it looks like actually muting myself deliberately is a great way to just get extra comments. Sorry about that. Yes, it is a very hot room. Mike could have heard that it was 17 degrees in Hokkaido. Really? I've been hearing it's been like quite even in Hokkaido. They've had like some 36, 37 degree days, like really, really hot, like 40 degrees Fahrenheit. So I don't know. I mean, there's a big heat wave over the whole east of Japan at the moment, and there's a typhoon over the whole west of Japan. And that's where I've just traveled from West Japan back to East Japan. And it's been crazy today. Robert 1967 Canada says that he is streaming it to the television, so it cuts the background sound somewhat. Okay, well that's good. And Michael points out Nakri 12. How long is the 11 on the way? I don't know what that means. Looks kind of Thai or Southeast Asian, but very, very impressive, Michael. Very impressive. Are these going to update by themselves? I hope so, but sometimes they don't. But if they do, let's give it one more chance. And oh, and now everything. Oh, there we go. They just updated. It looks like. So I'm going to come back up. Whoa, they've updated all of a sudden quite a lot. And now I need to go back. Okay, so we're back to confirming that the sound is good. That is good. Sound is back. That's right. You can read it. And Mikey Chen is here. Good to see. Hello, Mikey Chen. Good to see you always, Laura. December Clouds. Excited to hear about the trip, which I will get to very shortly. Indeed, my Argonos Jason, you missed 4 minutes. That's 4 minutes. You're never going to get them back. Well, as usual, it was my technical. I muted myself once, and it was the usual technical fluster. So there we go. Morton Hillman. Hello, all-knowing Hitler. Well, I don't know if I know everything. I love it when he says hello to everyone. Really? Well, hello everyone. Bit of service there, bit of service. Sarah Simang 28172 wants to know, what is Ami Yamato like? Well, that's a very good question. She is lovely, as was her friend. I think Miho was her name. Surprising thing, I was saying this the other day on 2.5 Oyajis perhaps. You know how most people look taller, you know, like, well, no, sorry. People look shorter. No, that's not true either. They look taller on video, so you expect them to be shorter in real life. And this was the case with a lot of YouTubers I've met. But the thing about YouTubers, I've found people generally are actually tall. Or, in fact, they're taller than I expect them to be. So there's always a bit of that reality jarring thing that happens when I meet people. But Ami, I was expecting to be like, I don't know, about 170 centimeters, what, about 5'6", 5'7". No, but she's actually, you know, she's like 5'2", 5'1". She's pretty short. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I mean, you know, she's got great skin, very easy to get along with. Big coffee drinker. We had great Indian, although of course coming from UK. She's lived in the UK I think most of her life now, and had great Indian together. And yeah, grabbed some Starbucks. I don't think she's being promoted by it. I don't know what the story of that is, but yeah, no, I had a lovely day. It was, and, you know, we have a bit of an awkward history, so but she was a good sport about it right away. We pretty much hit it off right away. We everything was in the past, and, you know, not awkward at all, as is often the case when I meet people for lunch or when I meet people up in person. You know, we had a great time, and, you know, we just met up for a couple of hours. I was working at the time, hence in the digs, and no, she was very nice. It was lovely. It was great meeting her when she's in Japan. If you follow her Twitter and so on, you can see she also met another New Zealander, Kat McDowell. You know, she seems to dig the Kiwis, which is understandable. You know, we're pretty affable people, I think. And you know, she's had a great trip in Japan by the looks of it. She might be back in UK by now. I'm not exactly sure, but anyway, had a great time with Ami, and, you know, she was completely awesome. And, you know, and yeah, it was a simple vid, but I don't know. As always, look at the vid very closely. I mean, it's always just very cool, the little things that are there. So yes, indeed, my Argonauts Jason points out, what is tonight's t-shirt? I was saying before, this is Tokyo Jungle Fever, with fever being a Thai misinterpretation of a Chinese character for fever. I think it's fitting because it was like 36 degrees today, and it's like still 30 degrees inside this room. We're down to 30.0, but yeah, the aircon still isn't. And right now with the computer and all the lights and everything on, I'm probably fighting nature quite hard at the moment. Barringer, good to see all you guys. Peter Subarashi, Mr. Karaoke Steve, as I like to call you, good to see you, sir. Indeed, everyone's saying hello to everybody. Skytroid asking, did I watch the special 60th anniversary documentary that was shown on NHK World TV? I don't get to see NHK World TV. I only get to watch the actual NHK. I guess I could watch NHK World TV online, but yeah, I kind of wish I could. I don't know, what was it about? I mean, NHK does some pretty awesome documentaries. Actually, I'm a big fan of NHK documentaries, so tell me about it. About Godzilla. You just did. No, I did not hear about Godzilla. Godzilla is currently at Tokyo Midtown, and I plan to go and see him this weekend, but it was just too hot. To quote my band, The Specials. Not my band, but one of my favorite bands, The Specials. I had this thing, I was looking for the song Too Hot by The Specials for like 30 years. Someone gave me a mixtape of the Pixies. And I was like at that time into club music and techno and drum and bass, and this person on a Spanish camp wanted to open my mind to really good music, and she gave me a mixtape of a tape of the Pixies. And I was very tribal about I'd probably actually like it now, but I was very tribal about music in those days. And in New Zealand, you know, club music, electronic music wasn't a big thing. I was very much an outcast, and I reveled in my outcastery, being into electronic music. But what blew me away on that mixtape, there was one track that I loved, and it was completely unlike everything else on the tape, but it was the ska track that came in, and it was just these guys singing about how it's too hot. And I spent years trying to find the ska track about it being too hot by the Pixies, and I could never find it. It took 30 years to discover it was the song Too Hot by the Specials, which probably the Pixies had been taped over the Specials, and I actually liked the tape that had been taped over better. Specials, legendary band from Coventry, you know, groundbreaking ska band group, and awesome for this sort of weather at the moment, but I digress. Godzilla, yeah, I'd love to see the NHK documentary on Godzilla. It sounds pretty cool. And Sane Camus, my old hero. I don't know if you actually pronounce his name Thane, or he was kind of my hero. There's a character. Yeah, he got kind of blacklisted, I think. I think he sued his talent agency, which is a big no-no. I mean, they're all mob affiliated and everything here. But when I first came to Japan, he had like a spot on Sanma's Karakuri Terebi, doing funniest English, getting Japanese people to speak English. And he was on every variety show, and he was so good at, well, he was one of my kind of people. I aspired to be as good at him as Japanese. And I actually saw him one time in Roppongi, with several women misbehaving. He was obviously very drunk, and I was standing next to him. I was very drunk myself, and I was saying, I was like a Stella kind of everything. I was like saying, like this far away from him, completely ignoring me, of course, because he was like mashing faces. But that was just before he knocked a girl up and got married, and congratulations to him. And he's still doing very well. He's got his own talent agency and everything now, and glad to see he's on NHK. He is still one of my heroes. In fact, seeing him in Roppongi like that only made him more of a hero to me. But yes, I digress. Again, Sup Nation, it's Philip DeFranco's comment. I love your faces. What? No, it's just Scott. I think you got Hiko's hope up. I felt like you just kicked a puppy. Yeah, well, that's right. Philip DeFranco was my original inspiration for starting YouTube. I'm not ashamed to admit that. I mean, you know, I like Cyndi Lauper. I have, you know, what else? I was uncool before it was like cool to be uncool. So I'm totally cool with with liking Philip DeFranco, such as it is. Not that I'm like him at all, but I find him entertaining. Travis Moore, well, at least you know a little bit more what you're looking for. Yeah, but the point is there's tons of stuff on anyway, so Google around, and I try to forward all the stuff that I can, although I guess, you know, that's something I should include on my Twitter. I should try to find a good going out guide and look for interesting stuff, although that would just make me feel lame and old from being married and unable to go to all these cool events which are here all the time, which is what I spent my first 10 years here doing. That's right, apparently December Cloud says that you can still download the Metropolis guide and it updates fortnightly. So there you go. Fortnightly for the Americans here means every 2 weeks. What else? If in the Kansai area, there's Kansai scene, but Tokyo Weekender, that's a good one. That's one I was trying to remember. A lot of free papers. Just go to a West Park Cafe or like a gaijin place. Go to one of the ghettos. You can find the free papers everywhere. There we go. So apparently it is going to be on at 2:10 a.m. again on Jib TV. So maybe that's worth looking at. Good information there from Skytrot. If you 2:10 a.m. I'm guessing is Japan time. So if you have access to Japan NHK World, Skytrot recommends a great documentary on Godzilla at that time. So go and check that out. 3:10 a.m. Japan time. Well, I certainly won't be watching that, but if you're out there and you can, go ahead. They should really make all of this stuff like YouTube by now. I mean, you know, everything should be selectable. You should be able to watch it on demand. TV is just completely outdated. They have to work on that. Lucas Musser apparently sent me the link on Facebook for what he wanted to show me. I'll tell you, a bit of service. I'm going to go and check this out. How are we doing for time? 22. We're okay. We're going to bada bing, bada bing. So I am... Let's find this message. Oh, so you've got Time Out Tokyo. There we go. You've got the link for Travis Musser right here. So boom, I'm going to flash this on the big screen. Thank you very much, Lucas Musser. You've got a response here for our good friend Travis Moore. So let me just how do I put this on? I put this on there. Boom, boom, and there we go. This is let's pull this down a little bit. This is the Time Out Tokyo guide, and apparently this has lots of information, including indeed the best gigs, best clubs, best restaurants, best things to see. The URL is timeout.jp /en/Tokyo. I don't know, I can't really make that bigger. I guess I can put in the video information, which I will do. Bada bing. But looks like there's a lot of stuff there. Let me just enlarge this. Boom, 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 boom. And I will... Dare I update the video information? Well, I am. So I'm going to put that link. I'm going to put in the link for Time Out Tokyo underneath my Flickr album. And I'm going to save that. The problem is everything is so zoomed in at the moment, it's really hard to see, but there we go. Save, view and watch page. I have to go down, pause the video, and back to the comments. Bada bing, go up, and go across a little bit. And we are good. It's like I was never away. except now I can't find where it was in the comments. But thank you very much for that, Lucas Muster. That was awesome. So anyway, let's keep going through. Indeed, Sean Galbraith asking, do I ever go by myself to clubs in Tokyo? Your friends are allergic to fun, so you never managed to go when you were there. Yes, I went out by myself occasionally. Just trying to think, what did I do? Yeah, no, screw it. If there was a good event on, I'd go. I mean, I'd just go. This is the thing. I was actually going for the music. Plus, I suppose it helps pick up people. Now, pretty much, no. I would. Just trying to think. Both. If it was really like a concert I wanted to go to, pretty much always if it was a concert, I'd be able to get some friends together for it. In fact, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it more, no, I always had some friends I'd go out with. A couple of times. I wasn't averse to going by myself, but no, it's pretty much. But you know, yeah, you can do that. And the great thing is about going out to clubs, at least, and I'm now 10 years out of date on this, but most of the Japanese people are very, very into the genres of music that they're into, which means that when you're there, if you're at a music event as opposed to like just a pickup bar in Roppongi or something like that, everyone is there for that music, the same as you, and so it means you've immediately got something in common, that you really love the music, and it's great. It's good atmosphere, and that's what it's about. You go to Australia, other places, half the people on drugs or something, and they're not really listening to the music or enjoying it. They're just moving around, they're just dancing around or whatever. But in Japan, people are really, really into the music, and they're into the people who are making the music and interacting with other people who like the music. And that's what's cool about the atmosphere here, is that it's not weird and stuff like it, and as tribal and weird as it used to be overseas anyway, although of course I'm a little bit out of date. December Clouds, yeah, I'd love to get a Tokyo Tonight. If anyone wants to make me a Tokyo Tonight version, I would love a Tokyo Tonight version of any one of those really awesome designs that came out. Because I have no artistic talent myself whatsoever. I've got a very good logo that I do like, but yes, I'm all the 2.5 Oyajis art has really blown me away. So of course I would always love to get something like that, and hell, I might even make a t-shirt around it. I don't want to make a t-shirt like with my own face, or even frankly my own character is a little bit weird, but if something could come up with something that would make a cool Tokyo Tonight shirt, I'd be down with that. I'd rock with that. Anyway, I love the designs that have come in, and that's the thing, I just appreciate the effort and the artistic skill a lot of people have just shown, and they took the time to do it. It's like writing. People nowadays, we just text or shoot emails or whatever, and you can do that kind of instantaneously, but in the old days, people used to like do something that would take time, like write a letter or do something creative. Even writing a letter, you're making something, there's something creative about that, which doesn't happen anymore. But getting those pictures, that's like getting a handwritten letter in a way. To me, that's someone's taken some time out of their lives and has done something creative and shared that with me, and it's personal, and that's awesome. I love that. So if you want to do a Tokyo Tonight one, I'd love it. But the 2.5 Oyaji stuff is cool. Lucas Musser, it's currently 20 in Hokkaido. I guess the temperature comes down at night. I don't know. Wow, it's pretty cold. I did go to Akanko a few years ago, which is up in the highlands, and it's in the northeast of Hokkaido, and that was pretty nice and cool there. I will come to Kumamoto very soon, although the comments keep coming in, so I'm just going to race through now. Toraya Bayama, catching me live for the first time after moving back to Japan after being away for 7 years. You know what? I am still planning an episode on permanent residency. I just haven't had the time to edit a video, but thank you for the reminder, because I must admit it had slipped my mind, and I've got to do that. 70 degrees and raining in Ireland. Well, that sounds like everything is as it should be in the World Night's Work Japan, but thank you for the update. Mayagano, apparently it cooled down in the Chugoku region, because you've had all the rain from the typhoon, of course. 31 degrees, down from 35 today. We had like 35.5 in Tokyo. It was horrible. Although I poured a little baby pool and put it on the veranda, and after my son was in it, I went and just buried myself in the cold water, and it was very nice. It was very nice. Ahmed, 40 degrees in Algeria, right? Well, that kind of sucks. Although I hope it's a dry heat anyway, but no, that's very unpleasant. 20 degrees in December in England. That's pretty terrible. Ahmed's jealous of everyone here. Darth JF, last year you were in a typhoon when you rode a bus from Takayama to Tokyo. It was rather exciting riding in the mountain roads. Yeah, I had a lot of exciting driving as well. Mikey Chen, family oriented, no nightclubs for you. Well, Yeah. Me too, and it was a big part of my life, but that's all cool. Ahmed, you're not in Tokyo. It's like 30 degrees where you are, but that's the typhoon season, so it's like 32 to 26 every day. Ahmed Zombia asking where he lives. Indeed. Michael, I animated a character like her before. Difficult to deal with. I wonder if you're talking about Ami, but yeah. Well, I don't know if that would be difficult to deal with. Ami's pretty cool. I mean, I think it should be pretty cool to base an animated character on, but she's pretty awesome anyway. You can base an animated character on me. How about that? I don't know. No, I would be very difficult to deal with. I have lots of technical issues. Indeed, Algeria, Ahmed, and you'd expect it to be warm there, especially this time of year. Charlie Brown, are you? Very good to see you indeed. BTW, you sent me a Hiko PM some time ago. I don't know if I intend to check them, so just mentioning here. I do check them every now and then, but not very often. I will go and check my YouTube messages. And I'm sorry, the best way to message me is on Facebook, actually, if you want to grab me, or Twitter. I'm not very. The YouTube messaging system's kind of gone to hell. It used to be really good, and now they're barely noticeable anymore. But yes, Mayaga no Jason, I'm familiar with the term jungle fever, and I still wear it with pride. It's kind of the jungle, and it's hot here or whatever. But no, it's a different phrase. I've seen the movie. It was a good movie. Mikey Chen, I should have been in Spain for all those days. I used to go to I was there for 3 months back in 1990. When was it? 95, 96. I went to Capital like every night in Madrid. I did very time there, and in Barcelona, but no, mostly in Madrid. I was like at Capital every night. That was like, yeah. I thought it was the most awesome thing. That was the first nightclub, and that was the first nightclub I'd ever been to. Actually, was Capital. And when I went back to New Zealand, I got all my friends together. So we have to go clubbing, and we went to the only nightclub in Auckland, and it was called the Box. And I think it was called the Box because they had a cardboard box painted black with holes punched in it around a light spinning. And the music was okay, but it was just crap. I mean, especially going after being in Spain. And yes, I bought a lot of records in Spain, and looking back now, it wasn't great music, but it was fun. I had a lot of fun at Capital, although I had to play security for 50 girls, which isn't as good. It's not as good fun as it sounds, especially in Spain, because it meant I had to literally be security. I had to get into a lot of physical confrontations with troublemaker guys. But yeah, it was an interesting few months actually. So no, I know all about clubbing in Spain. I had a very good time doing that. Indeed, Mikey. Ahmed, talking about hotness. You love it. Well, that's good. I'm not a big fan of hotness in the right sense, but certainly not in terms of weather. Up to a certain point, and if I'm not working. But 40 is crazy. 最近サブした。ありがとうございました。緑小松崎。小松崎、面白い名前だね。はい、ありがとうございました。You're the lady from Kumamoto, right? And I had a great time in Kumamoto, and I'm going to get to that because we were already on the half-hour mark, so I've got to go and do that. Stella, that's right. Ahmed, you're with me. Topic for the day. Korea has a lot of Japanese anime, games, and manga. Japan has a lot of Korean drama. This changes people's minds. It's slow but positive. My 2 cents, yeah. I think the cultural exchange thing is huge. It is kind of a shame. I don't mean to bash on Korea, but geez, they bash enough on Japan. The ban on cultural imports from Japan for so long by Korea was complete bullshit. And especially given the fact that the whole time during the ban on Japanese music that they were ripping off Japanese music and translating it into Korean and selling it over there, and like Dr. Evil, pretending he invented songs. They did this to the Korean market. They just copied Japanese songs and sold it to them and pretended that they had invented it, which is, I don't care, but it's there's so much room for positive cultural exchange, and Japanese people, you're right, they love Korean dramas, they love Korean idols, they love Korean music, and we have periodic Korean culture booms, and I think if you just lifted all the people and you got all the politics and the BS out of the way, I think the countries would get along fine, but too many politicians don't want it to happen. It's all about the politicians. So yes, I completely agree. I think unfortunately, those cultural exchanges themselves become politicized a lot of the time, and that's a big shame. But I think I completely agree. That's where you can improve relations, and that's where the big difference between China and North Korea and these other countries is, and that's where Japan and Korea share the most in common. They're both free, open democracies that can share culture like that, which other countries can't do. Lucky Claver asking, can I talk about burakumin? I've done a blog on it before. You should look at my blog. I do a blog called When Talking About Burakumin, Never Say Burakumin. Go and look that up. There's a small section in your cultural anthropology textbook, as there is in most cultural anthropology textbooks that I've read. It's funny, I read so much about it and never really encountered it when I came to Japan. Wonder if I know a little bit more about them. That's an interesting topic, and I can talk about it. I'll talk about it very quickly, because I want to get onto my trip and all the other stuff, and we've got a full program. But in terms of burakumin, they are basically, well, for a start, legally, one, the term is like really, I know in English anthropological literature they still use that term. That term is like the word, am I allowed to say, well, I'm going to say it, it's like the word nigger. I mean, these are words. That is a word that is banned, and if you say it, you're a horrible person. And in Japanese as well, that word is that. So it's kind of funny, when we study Japanese, we talk about, could you imagine Japanese anthropologists talking about the civil rights movement in America, about the liberation of the ends? But that's what we do when we talk about burakumin. The correct term is dowa. They received, there was a lot of intense discrimination of dowa caste people, which really lasted right up and through the 1980s. By the 1990s, it was assessed that they've been pretty much so successful at eradicating the discrimination against it, and indeed there have been so much kind of social support to kind of eradicate the tools that they were discriminated by, that all of the social welfare benefits and kind of support was pretty much removed from the year 2000 onwards. It's pretty much now, the lingering vestiges of it are that Dowa people, because lower caste and they were discriminated and they couldn't get jobs, are associated a lot with organized crime, as are Zainichi and other people. Discriminated groups are associated with people who have a propensity for going into organized crime. It's kind of ironic. It's like a cycle, right? They discriminate against them because they can't get jobs because they're discriminated against. So there's a presumption that they go and become gangsters, and that becomes a justification for discriminating against them. So trying to break that cycle is something that they were very focused on with them. You find, I think most Dowa people have fixed it by simply moving to places where they're not known. If you're in old parts of Japan, which is particularly most of Western Japan and some areas of Tokyo, people have long enough memories that they know just by your name and just by where you live that they are that, and they still do practice discrimination, and they won't allow intermarriage and stuff like that because they'll presume that you're marrying into a mob family. It's probably a bit like gypsies in some ways in Europe. People, sometimes families, might not want their people marrying into gypsy families, for example, in Europe. Not that I'm saying that's the right thing, but the way that you overcome it is by sometimes changing your name, sometimes not even changing your name, just moving to Tokyo, where no one knows anyone and no one gives a crap about that sort of thing, and just working hard and living a normal life. However, there's long memories in parts of Japan, and yeah, it's pretty much if you want to find out about it in Tokyo, there are neighborhoods in Tokyo and Asakusa and Shitamachi that still have specific areas that have been there forever. Osaka, Kyushu have them everywhere, and they still kind of, if you look online, they still do say bad things about those people, but they're much harder to identify now. A lot of the registers that used to be kept, the official registers and official legal discrimination which used to happen, is now gone. And the term Dowa means exactly, literally the same Japanese as us. So it doesn't really make any sense in a way as a term, but the idea is if you're looking back in history and saw a law about treatment of Japanese people just the same as us, not to be discriminated, probably wouldn't make any sense to Japanese anthropologists of the future. But this is the point. They've even eliminated the vocabulary, and it's a good thing. So yeah, a lot of the books that talk about it are outdated, and frankly they invite conversations which are completely inappropriate. I mean, imagine an enthusiastic Japanese anthropologist meeting a black person and saying, "Tell me about nigger culture." That's what white people do when we come and we talk to Japanese and we ask questions about burakumin, and they go, "Whoa, dude." And if you ask people in Tokyo about Dowa, most people don't know about it. I've been through Dowa sensitivity training in my last company, and most people in my work didn't know about it. But they do know if you're in Western Japan, or if you're in Kyoto or Kyushu, or really old parts of Japan, people know. And go and ask them. Especially go find an old person who looks really racist. They can tell you everything. But yes, I'm sorry, I love that topic, and I've read all those sort of books that you've read, and first thing, for God's sake, please don't use that term that you just used ever in Japanese. Maybe use it in English and mumble it, or say buraku people or something like that. Just don't say that, because it's not good. It's like I was just saying. What's up from the West Coast? Indeed. Hey, West Coast, Brian Rayner, good to see you, sir. Travis Moore, good with the information. That's cool. Thank you for the Lucas Musa thing. You live at your computer as a part-time hikikomori. Well, there you go. That's the hikikomoris are rocking with the information. All of that going out information as well. It's tough being a hikikomori who has a computer database access to going out information. That's right, Das Jeff points out. Go and check out on my look at Hikosaemon.com, and that word that you just said, which I'm not going to repeat anymore because I'm going to get into trouble. And you can find my discussion on it, and I go through it. Oh, that's right. So everyone giving him the advice and all the googly stuff, and that is all good. 28 degrees in Sweden, Stockholm. Well, that's hot. I actually tossed up learning between Swedish and Spanish, and it was just purely based on the countries I thought had the women I most wanted to meet. I learned Spanish Latin for 5 years, so I went with Spanish, and it was good. It was good. Okay, so now I'm going to get on to how was the trip? Kumamoto. So I went to Kumamoto just for 3 days, which is a very Japanese type trip. Oh, hey, Joseph Miller, good to see you. Oh, and Legit Outlaw, very good to see you indeed. And yes, okay, and you're out by the base. So yeah, of course, and they have all sorts of stuff out there. In fact, I'm going to be careful in getting drawn into the interesting topics, but very good to see Legit Outlaw, Jess. And by the way, commiserations, I guess. Sorry, I know you've been having a tough time lately, but you are awesome, and I really do enjoy following you, Legit Outlaw, and be cool. You know, I think you're cool. And Joseph Mullen, good to see you. And Nathan Richard, good to see you. And what is the model turntable behind me? I've got blue covers on it, but that is a Technics SL1200. No 1210s, no messing around, just the traditional SL1200s, which I haven't played very much lately. But anyway, I'm going to switch on to the next topic. Bada boom. Hey, Malcan, Japan. Hey, you. I'm... Okay, switching. So Kumamoto. So I went to Fukuoka, which is what I consider to be my hometown in Japan, and Hakata. So here is the photo trip, and let me talk you through it to the extent that I can enlarge this photo. Oh, pardon me. Let me do this. Boom. Let me just enlarge this just a little. There we go. Okay, so I went to Hakata for 3 days. We flew down to Fukuoka. It was super cheap. We could have flown all the way to Kumamoto actually, but we wanted to ride on the Kyushu bullet train, which my son, they've got special bullet trains that only go in Kyushu. There's 3 types. There's the Sakura and the Mizuho, which are both from the 700 series, which is what runs all over from Tokyo south. However, they also have the Tsubame, the 800 series, which only runs inside Kyushu, and it's kind of cool looking, and it's awesome. So we went and checked that out. We rode that to Kumamoto, which is only 40 minutes. It surprised me how close it was from Fukuoka. At Fukuoka station, we actually we walked in. The airport is really, really close to Hakata train station. We just got, I think it's like 2 stops on the subway. We went there. We got some Hakata ramen. If you're in Fukuoka, by the way, Fukuoka is Hakata. Hakata is Fukuoka. I'm not exactly sure why it has 2 names, but Edo in Tokyo are the same thing, I guess, except they really do use the names interchangeably. Hakata is the name of the central station in Fukuoka, where the bullet train and indeed where the airport is also very close to. I went and got some tonkotsu ramen. Tonkotsu ramen is every region in Japan has its own ramen that it's famous for. Fukuoka and Kyushu is generally famous for pork broth. But really thick pork broth ramen. It tastes delicious. I actually really like that. And Sapporo ramen, the miso ramen, which is also very similar. It's very, very thick. I'm not really into the shoyu and shio ramen that you get in Osaka and Tokyo. Actually, it's not so interesting. Kyushu has awesome ramen, so we got some ramen, And this is the 700 series, which this is the Sakura, which runs just within Kyushu. I think it goes to Nagasaki from Fukuoka. And that is the 800 series, and that's kind of an awesome train that was designed especially just for running up and down the mountains that they have in Kyushu, and that runs all the way down to Kagoshima. And it's got a little red thing on top. It's kind of a cool design, and it's called the Tsumamen, which is named after like the little sparrow that it looks like. There we go. Took some train shots because it's kind of a cool train. You don't get to see it. I'm not really a train buff myself, but taking my son over there, he's very much into bullet trains, and taking him to the train to Tokyo Station to watch the bullet trains meant that I became somewhat knowledgeable about this stuff, and it's pretty cool. It's a very cool train. The driver inside very friendly. Fukuoka people, very friendly people. Fukuoka is probably like one of the friendliest cities in Japan, and just for that reason alone, just the fact that it's a major city, it's got like, I don't know, nearly up to I think maybe 2 million people now, 1.5. It's one of the top 5 or 6 cities in Japan, and it's often considered the most livable city in Japan. Most parts of Kyushu, they speak with dialects that are pretty hard to understand, but in Fukuoka, which has its own dialect, everyone kind of gets together there and mixes up, so they're not so thick with the dialects, which makes the Japanese, they're very easy to understand. It's a proper big city. It's got everything really that Tokyo has. It's connected with bullet trains. You can catch a ferry to Korea in 3 hours. You've got air travel everywhere. It's a very well connected city. Pretty good climate. Surprisingly though, actually it's colder in Fukuoka in winter than it is in Tokyo, just because they're exposed to the Japan Sea, which is where all the bad weather comes off. But yeah, it's a great city. My homestay was in Onojo City, and I didn't get to see them this time. We were just passing through, but we got on the bullet train and we rocked our way to Kumamoto. 40 minutes. I thought it would be much further actually, but it was 40 minutes, and it was pretty awesome there. Yeah, we got out of the train immediately. Like my son, he was really into wanting to see Kumamon, but we didn't. Rather than meet Kumamon, we got straight onto this train called the Asoboi. Inside this is like a special express train, which is for kids. You have to book their tickets like 30 days in advance, and you have to do it like on the same day, like in the morning, like heading enter to try to get a ticket for it, because it's basically just full of trains and like little ball pools and stuff like that for kids just to play the whole way. And it was pretty cool. My son was very excited to be on it. It's a very cool train. It's got this little character. I kind of thought it was kind of cool taking photos of this little dog as we were going by different scenery. All these photos were taken, by the way, with my GM1K, which is a full DSLR, and I tell you what, I actually got this little carry pouch, which I can just sling it over keep it on my side. I just took this one lens, I took all my photos with this. Compared to lugging around my full bag with all my lenses and my GH3 and everything, this takes photos just as good. This was just made traveling so much easier, and I took so much awesome photos as a result of that. Of course, I left the family ones off this particular batch, but yeah, I was able to play around with it anyway. So that is the theme dog of the train thing. I kind of shot outside, very, very green. I mean, this isn't fake color or anything like my Instagrams usually are, but this is natural color. Crazy how green. And actually, so as we went from Kumamoto, which is by the sea, we kind of went up into the mountains. There's a Mount Aso, which is about 40 k's inland from Kumamoto, and it's on a plateau about 1,000 meters high, to a big volcano complex where all the volcanoes are about 1,500 meters, which is I think about 4,500, 5,000 feet high, and it's still active volcanoes, and also onsens, hot springs all the way up there. So we went up to a resort up in that area which had a hot spring inside the hotel. But very, very fertile up there, obviously I think because of all the volcanoes or whatever, and you get this incredible greenness as you go up everywhere, which was cool. Because it was raining, we couldn't really go outside and do much of the outdoor stuff which we wanted to do, but we went to this place called Farmland, which is this massive kind of theme park, but it's got like animals you can see, and it's also got this kind of crazy ballroom, which my son was playing in this, and I thought they looked like nice wallpaper for my iPhone, so I took some shots of this with the camera. This is just kind of random stuff, but they're nice photos. We rocked with some animals. Oh, that's right, there was kind of a fitness test. There's one other lad buried in jumping all over the place. Yeah, I got some great shots of him like just shooting, getting good air, but you can't see them. But yes, I went and did a fitness test that confirmed I have the physical agility and stamina of a 20-year-old. my wife was certain it was completely broken, or I must have somehow cheated or done something. But yes, I had to dance around and do Dance Revolution with these buttons. See, there's me catching some air. I still got it. I was dripping with sweat after this. It was quite embarrassing. That is an alpaca, because alpacas rock. We are feeding the alpacas, and these are not chupacabras and not chinchillas, but they're capybaras, something like that. It sounds like a chupacabra, but it's not a chupacabra. They're very friendly. They're big rats, basically. But we get to feed them vegetables. There's a flamingo. I've never gotten that close to a pink flamingo before I got up and said hello to it. And that's a pig. Very nice pigs. This is actually one I thought that Alden youth would appreciate. Great picture of a lizardy fella. But like I said, this is all at the farm thing. These were all undercover. It's all we could do because it was a typhoon with little bright spots. You can see there's some good weather there at times, but when the weather got crazy, it got really, really crazy. So I shot some nice animal shots. And this is driving up. You've got all these cool, crazy volcanic cones, which reminds me a lot of New Zealand. There's a lot of places like this. We actually drove, and this is inside the volcanic crater. There's actually some horses over there in the distance. But at this time when I was here, the weather was so crazy. I kind of took some black and white shots, but I couldn't really capture how bad the wind was. That's a view from my hotel room, by the way. But I'm actually going to show you something right now from my iPhone, because I actually went outside. I thought about maybe I'll do a typhoon vlog, like being on the weather or whatever. And I kind of decided very quickly it was a very bad idea. But such as it is, I guess I can show you. There we go. So this is me trying to go outside and take this is inside the volcanic crater, and I was trying so hard to take a proper video blog, and it was impossible. This is when I wish I had longer hair for dramatic effect. But yes, it turned out not to be a good idea. Now I'm out of focus. Come on, autofocus, focus. There we go. So anyway, I tried. If I had longer hair, it would have been like more dramatic, but I don't. What can you do? I was looking at the mountains here. This is how green it is. It's really a lovely place. And this place where we were down here, you can see, was this kind of huge estate with lots of like grass where you could run around, like you can't do in Japan. And so having a kid, I really wanted to do all this, but it was just pouring with rain most of the time. That was quite a moment where there was a bit of a break in the clouds that I could take these photos. We were driving around as well. There's a lot of German stuff. Like there's this little German village. The hotel I was in as well was kind of German themed. I don't know if anyone was like hiding there or anything. They like Germans. I went into the shop and they asked me, "Where are you from?" And I was going to say Tokyo, and then I realized that probably isn't the answer that they're looking for. So I hesitated and I said New Zealand, and then they looked really disappointed. They walked away, and when we went and bought some Baum cake, they said, "Yeah, I was really hoping you would be German." Sorry to disappoint you. But they're lovely people, and it's kind of crazy. You look at this; these are like all these villages are all Western-style houses. They've got backyards and lawns with grass all over them. I mean, this is at high altitude, and it's very, very fertile there. So most parts of Japan, grass just dies. But you look at this; you can play soccer, and this is like New Zealand. I mean, seriously, like the colours and the everything. These are little volcanic cones. You actually get cones like this in Auckland City, where I come from. Auckland has 22 volcanoes, as does this area. They don't erupt very often, but very, very green. This is kind of just a cool little volcanic dome thing. And then we came back to Kumamoto Castle. One thing, I'll come back in the hotel. When we're done with the photos, I'll talk about the stuff a little bit more. But yeah, it was kind of. I mentioned at one point. So in the restaurant, there were a lot of foreigners there, a lot, but not many Westerners. Definitely a lot of Chinese, and I'm guessing maybe they were Taiwanese. There's a thing about PRC people and Taiwanese people. Taiwanese people speak Chinese, but somehow they blend in a lot better in Japan. You know, the way that they dress, the way that they act. They don't quite look like, aliens, like landing on the moon, walking around for the first time. Taiwanese feel pretty natural. And I don't know, either these were super wealthy Chinese that are used to coming on vacation to Japan, or they're Taiwanese. And I think a lot of them were probably Taiwanese. There were some Koreans and stuff as well. yeah, at the hotel there's a high proportion of those. There was me as well, but so I don't know. When the lady came out, it was literally like Ken Tanaka's film. Lady sitting there taking she looks straight at me, I look straight at her. I say, well, okay, I'd like the A course and the ginger ale, please. And she like looks around, she looks at my son, and she looks at my wife, and so what would he like to order? I said, I just told you ginger ale. And she's, oh, I didn't expect you to speak Japanese. And that's kind of what it was, but she was looking straight at me, and I was looking straight at her, and we were like eyes connected. I was speaking Japanese to her, and I wasn't speaking weird Japanese at all. I was saying, "E setto to ginger ale o kudasai." It's not that weird, but she obviously, her brain was just not expecting Japanese, and it was just switched off, which was fine. And that happens. It doesn't happen very often. The other thing, I just remembered as well, when I arrived in Kumamoto train station, I was actually buying some souvenirs. Actually, I just got some juice there, but the lady was obviously, middle-aged lady in the shop, and she obviously didn't speak English, and she looked, as they do, kind of all tensed up and rigid, not knowing what to do and what to say to me. And I said, can I please pay by suka? Suka harate desu ka? And she literally jumped backwards. Nihongo daijoubu desu. I was, yeah, that's a pretty good reaction for me speaking the language that people speak here. Yes, that's right. And yeah, it was kind of funny. I guess in Tokyo I'm not used to people being surprised at someone who looks like me speaking Japanese, which I guess is, again, it's a nice thing about Tokyo. It's not super cosmopolitan, but it's cosmopolitan enough that no one ever acts surprised, ever, that I speak Japanese. But in Kumamoto, I ran into people who were surprised or not. Maybe they just weren't expecting it. Maybe they were just used to seeing more tourists. But yeah, Kumamoto itself does have an international airport, and it does have fantastic sightseeing and tourist stuff to do, which apparently the Koreans and Chinese and Taiwanese seem to know better than anyone else. I think there were some Southeast Asians there as well, by the way. Some of the theme parks I went to, I heard Southeast Asian languages as well. But it's pretty cool. A lot of international travelers coming in, and it's good to see. Also, the tourist information stuff is getting better there. It used to be years ago you couldn't find tourist information there to save your life, but it was all there. It was much better connected nowadays. And now we come to the photo. So this is Kumamoto Castle, which I went to, which is pretty cool. It's kind of distinguished by having the big tower and the little tower next to it. I kind of prettied up this photo for Instagram, which I posted today. The link for this photo set, by the way, is beneath the video, so you can check this out. Inside the castle, some beautiful stuff, the painting stuff, some stuff on the Civil War. I didn't actually realize in the Civil War, which is what the Tom Cruise Last Samurai movie is about, the Satsuma Rebellion, this castle was one of the main flashpoints of that rebellion. They tried to actually surround and take over this castle, and government troops tried to defend and hold it up. And there it is, the Asahi flag back in the Meiji period, because it was the national flag, not a swastika, although some Koreans are trying to make it out that way, which is not helpful. But yeah, I thought it was very interesting stuff. And there's a very picturesque castle, very nice castle. You can go inside, you can walk all over it. We met ninjas. There you can see Kumamon in the distance, the mascot of Kumamoto Prefecture. There he is. My son wanted to meet him, and that's the whole reason we went to Kumamoto. And very affable guy. He jumps around. My son crash tackled him. It was a pretty good tackle. I taught him how to tackle, like around the legs and to pick him up like the All Blacks do. He's got a good technique. He actually managed to fell Kumamon and jump on top of him, and noticed that the face of the guy was inside the mouth, and was like, I had to pick him up off. I was impressed. I was go for it, son. It was good. Coming back, we got a good shot of Mount Fuji. We were just going by. I was sitting in the middle aisle, not by the window. And it was a shame because the plane had an aborted landing. We had to loop for like 20 minutes, and there were like fireworks going off all around Tokyo. But I wasn't by a window. I was in the middle, isolated row, and I could see through the window, but I couldn't quite take a photo. I would have if I could have. But for this one, this was before we were in the landing pad, and so I could walk around. I actually walked over by an area by where the air stewardesses sit, and I opened the window and took this photo myself. And I actually got a few really nice shots of Mount Fuji popping out through the clouds just in the evening. And I got some very, very nice ones. And that is the plane. The plane actually had a flap failure. We were going to land, and the plane, one of the flaps didn't work, and they had to abort the landing and take off again. And the pilot explained, we all nearly died after we landed, which was reassuring. Well, we landed fine anyway, so it was all good. and that is coming back. This is on the C1 highway from the taxi. We're actually going alongside the monorail, going into some buildings and stuff. I thought it was a cool shot, so I just randomly shot it, and then my wife said, "Put the camera away," which I did. Video topics. I didn't even get into video topics. We're already up in the hour, so I'm just going to go and rock through these very quickly. Go and check out my football. You know about all my football magazines by now. I've got a lot of awesome ones, but go and check them out. Latest stats came out that Japan has now record life expectancy. Women have exceeded life expectancy of 90 for the first time. Men are now up to 86, which means that people are now enjoying living off social welfare for, in the case of men, 20 years, and women, no, it's more than 20 years, and women 25 years. And you know, and the youth population is declining. As not only are there more old people, but they're living longer. A very, very big thing about that. Good Gaijin Pop blog on 15 things that surprised a person about Japan. Some creative date ideas for Tokyo, which are not just good date ideas, they're good going out ideas. Which I saw here. I thought going dancing, doing a Lost in Translation tour, which I think is a good idea. That walking around the Yamanote line. Don Quixote Midnight Scavenger Hunt, maybe not so much, and Purikura selfies, but well, I guess for a date kind of a thing. But certainly I think the first 3 suggestions there are very good. Other things I thought were good are how to use Japanese to improve your music. I used music to improve my Japanese, and I recommend it. Learn songs, even if you don't like them, learn them, and you can find good music, and it's another good way to get into the culture. More surveys finding out that young people are miserable and old people are happy in Japan. All these old people saying that young people nowadays are soft. Young people have it tough today in Japan. Check that out. Old people happy, young people miserable. But you know, this is, as the father of a young Japanese person, I worry about this stuff, but that is what it is. The smoking rate in Japan has dropped below 20% for the first time. That's a good thing. It shows that there's slow but sure progress being made. I mean, Japan was a smoker's paradise. When I arrived in the 90s, you could smoke anywhere. People would smoke on trains, people would smoke, you know, restaurants, you couldn't avoid it. I thought this was kind of interesting. There was a sumo suit run in London, and apparently some Japanese people were offended. I was like, oh, who's acting offended? It's just some fun. And I read it, and the Japanese people who were complaining or felt awkward about it were saying, well, there was an unoffensive. There was an ad about the Anna thing with the guy with the long nose, and all the English people were complaining about how racist it was, and then English people go and do this. Of course, the problem is that you can never talk for an entire country. There are people who think the Anna ad was fine and wouldn't complain about the sumo thing, and there are hypocrites. Is this hypocritical? Would any of the people on the sumo run have complained about the Anna ad about the long nose, or are they totally different things? Personally, I think they're both fine, the Anna ad and this, but you can sort of see Japanese feeling a little bit, and you know, of course, England isn't the greatest country for international cultural sensitivity, especially when it comes to Japan. But that said, I think this looks just stupid, pretty much, but harmless, not racist. Anyway, I'm cool with it. There is, by the way, and I'm thinking about getting this myself, a Darth Vader to Japanese dictionary has been released, with phrases in Japanese like if you will not fight, then you will meet your destiny, and impressive, most impressive, you have failed me for the last time. I'm totally, now that I'm going into management, I'm going to totally get this. The emperor is not as forgiving as I am. I wonder if they really translate it like that, but yes, I'm going to get this book. If you're learning Japanese, there is a Darth Vader dictionary for Japanese. There's a list of fireworks festivals, which are awesome. They're all going all summer. Summer is fireworks season in Japan, and that is it. Awesome stuff there. I think how to get. Oh, maybe I didn't do these either, but oh no, that's right. So there's 10. This is in Japanese, but these are 10 recommended sushi restaurants around Tokyo, and these are tips for getting around. These are special tourist-only deals like the Japan Rail Pass and so on, that you can get the most out of your trip to Japan. I think these are all very helpful stuff. I'm going to go to the comments one last time, and then I'm going to check out, because we're out of time. It's been a quick hour, as it always is. So yes, those are my SL1200s. I was talking about that before. Kumamoto was awesome. Kyoto. Yeah, so Kumamoto's okay, because especially where I was around Mount Aso, it's got so much altitude that it's usually cooler anyway. I mean, Kyoto is crazy hot. It's hotter than Tokyo. Kyushu's not that bad if you go up to altitude. Of course, it was made cooler in my case by the fact there was a typhoon the entire time, but what can you do? And That's right. Other people going off to sleep, which I don't blame you for, and there's, I don't know what Martian Sebula is talking about, but that's cool. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of comments that I'm going to refresh in a second. But in any case, oh, and there it goes. It just suddenly updated a lot of them. Okay, what do you reckon? One last dash. Let's do one last dash of comments. Speaking of bullet trains, what do I think of Hyperloop? I'd love to see a Hyperloop. I think Hyperloop would be awesome. Tonkotsu Ramen, indeed, love that stuff. That's right, love Kumamoto too. Too bad you didn't see him. I saw Kumamoto up close. He was awesome. Hakata's the original name back in the Heian period. In Edo period, they renamed it after the Tokugawas. Okay, so it's a bit like Edo in that case. Green like the Irish flag, indeed. Kumamoto was. Ball is never a bad thing, indeed it is not. Thank you for telling the truth there, Night's Work Japan. In New Zealand, indeed, we call it soccer. People don't know this, but association football, rugby was football before soccer was football. Look it up on Wikipedia. Rugby is the true football, even though I think everyone pretty much acknowledges that soccer has taken over the rights to it, but we do call it soccer. That's right, Chris. We've got next time, just say a good imbi beat. No, I wouldn't get away with that, but thank you for the tips, Chris. That's right. Oh yeah, and you know what? This whole thing about the restaurant stuff, for example, that episode, that's something that Debito and the lady acting surprised and jumping back, she calls that microaggression, like old ladies in the South being patronizingly condescending towards foreigners. That's not microaggression. I mean, again, this just shows that Debito Arido is a retarded monkey, if you ask me. You can quote me. Honestly, that whole microaggression of Japanese people not understanding, towards white people is just absolutely ridiculous. And I've already taken that apart and proven why that's the case. And this is it again. I mean, like I say, it was stupid, but it wasn't it wasn't based from a belief of racial superiority, as that theory hinges upon. It's stupid. Is it an original castle or reconstruction? I think it is an original castle. I could be wrong about that, but I think it is. Yes, I met ninjas and I was like, boom, that's right, totally took down Kumamoto. It was awesome. Darth J, fast way to learning Japanese. Yeah, song titles, again, music, anything around music is a good way to learn Japanese. The Darth Vader dictionary, I think, is a must-buy. The sumo race, to be honest, they're both weird, but years are like a cultural sensitivity. But honestly, I think, and I'm Mr. Culture, and honestly, you don't need to be sensitive. Jeez, I mean, the world is too small. And talk about European Union, indeed. And now I'm going to check out. I'm sorry, J Demon just got here, but I'm gone. I've been here for over an hour. My time is up. It's been good talking to you all. It's been all good taking your comments. I hope you enjoyed it. I've showed you a bit of Kumamoto. I showed you the latest news and stuff, and we are all good, I believe. And Midori Komatsuzaki is asking, I'm from New Zealand. How come I left such a beautiful country? Because there are too many damn sheep. They're everywhere. They take over everything. It's like, damn, no, I like people. I'm a people person, not a sheep person. Although sheep are cool, especially cute, fluffy ones. But no, that's why I came to New Zealand, to Japan. Good night, everyone. Good seeing you again. Good hanging out with you as we do every week. I'll, of course, be back on 2.5 Oyajis on Wednesday night at 10:30 this week on Victor's channel, and every Sunday night here at 11 p.m. With you guys here, Tokyo Tonight. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you again later. Peace. Boom. Good night. No, I have to go turn this off. Boom.